So there we go then. Weekend complete that began on Tyneside on Friday night with a 1-1 draw between Newcastle and Leeds. Wins for Brentford, Arsenal, Liverpool, Watford and Villa on Saturday, but not, of course, for the champions Manchester City, held at home by Southampton. Earlier on today, 2-2-1 games, but that doesn't tell the complete story, which we'll tell you about in the next hour or so. Brighton getting the 3 points against Leicester, who had VAR complaints, and then all kinds of late drama that saw eventually Manchester United win 2-1 at West Ham. Mark Noble brought on for a penalty that was saved by David De Gea in the 95th minute. And 3-0 and 3 more points for Chelsea. So, Thomas Tuchel's team are top of the table. Why? I can hear you screaming at your screens and tablets. Well, because they have an identical record after 5 games with Liverpool in terms of played, won, goals scored, goals conceded. So it goes to head-to-head. Because the head-to-head was at Anfield and Chelsea scored away from home in the draw, then that is the short version of why they are top of the table. But Manchester United are with them now on 13 points as well after their win earlier today. And Brighton in amongst the big boys there, as you can see, ahead of Manchester City in 4th place. Everton still in the top 6. Look away now, Norwich fans. Played 5, the only team without a point on the board. Burnley just have the solitary point. Newcastle 2, they are the other 2 teams in the bottom 3. And then on 3 points come Leeds and Wolves.
A really disappointing afternoon for yourselves. What did you make of it and how the game unfolded?
Yeah, disappointed. The first half was very good. First half, I think, we were very good, very good. The game had 2 halves, clearly. In the first half, I think we compete really well. We were the better team. We were in control, pressing high, creating situations. For 50 minutes, we held on until the first goal. After that, the game changed. It became very hard for the boys, very hard for us. Chelsea, a good team, good in possession, created many problems. But the first half, if there any positive, there's goals.
Do you think you caught them by surprise with your tactic, your front 3 pushing high? You had them on the back foot, particularly, as you say, for that first 30 minutes. Yeah. I don't know if we surprised them, but the idea was that clearly we needed to start the match really strong, and we did it. We did it with really good pressing, recovering the ball, creating situations. The plan was to score. There was a chance. There were chances to do it. We didn't do it. But like I said to you, the first half, fantastic. What changed from your point of view in the second half? They obviously made a tactical tweak. Why do you think you weren't able to respond?
The set piece, the goal really was disappointing. The set piece, the team after that struggled to recover the control of the game. And like I said, Chelsea is a mature team. They are organised, they have experience. It became very hard for us.
Should you have done better on the set piece, do you think?
Of course, we should have done better on many aspects. That's what we say. Since we started, we have a lot of things to improve. Even when we did it, good results and good performance, we are aware that we have a lot to improve, a long way to go, and we keep on doing because the belief is here, the boys are working well, and we're going to push it.
Very different games, but that's back-to-back 3-0 defeats in the Premier League. How much of a worry is that?
Because the goals that you concede, but totally different games. That game of Crystal Palace is totally out of our memories. We have to realize that was a different opponent, and at our home our fans deserved better. But I think in the first 45 minutes was huge for us. Was huge. Now we have to get the platform to keep on going and sustain these levels of performance through all the game.
Thanks, Nuno.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
The first one, which really set the tone early in the second half, Michael.
Yeah, the first goal was obviously key in these big games. Scoring the first goal is always important. Silva, not the tallest player on the pitch, but he hasn't half got a big jump. I just want to focus on Dele Alli here. He can spot him early. He knows that's his man. He's been assigned to him. And, I mean, eventually he just gets out-jumped and out-powered and strength. But I just want you to look carefully now at Dele Alli and his eyes and where he's looking. I think he's looking at the ball way too late. He's only just glimpsed at it now. And by the time he focuses where it is, he sets himself, he actually jumps. I think it's too late and he doesn't get a jump at all. And Silva sort of almost beats him to the punch.
For all that creativity you're talking about with Chelsea, I mean, Glenn, that's such a disappointing way to concede the first goal for Tottenham.
It is. I think he caught. It was designated to pick him up, but I think he caught him cold. Silva actually stayed late. He went in late. He stayed on the edge of the box. And I think Dele Alli was thinking, do I go and pick him up from there? Is he coming into the box? And that's why I think at the end of the day, he was under the ball. And that's why Silva had a run on him. But it was, he wanted it more. Let's put it that way. He wanted that header more than Dele did. And at the end of the day, no one seems to put anyone on the back post anymore. Call me old school, but there's so many goals from corners that would actually be cleared if someone was on the back post. And again, keeper had no chance.
Chelsea's second oldest Premier League goal scorer, incidentally, Thiago Silva, only Didier Drogba ahead of him. Sad to say, past you, Glenn, today on that particular list. 2-0, N'Golo Kanté. Similar to the goal we saw in our first match, Tim, but again, from a Tottenham point of view?
They've got their midfield players in there. There's too much space in that D area. They give the ball away cheaply. Celso gets robbed of it, but the intensity of the press there. Kanté picks it up. Absolutely acres of space. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. It's not the best of strikes. Gets deflection off of Dyer and flies past Lloris. But if you look at there, Ndombele, he is shattered. He cannot move. Look, Dyer's telling him, get in there. You need to be there. You need to get an opposer Kanté there. He cannot get there. He physically could not get there. 57 minutes gone. That cannot be right. You don't play the kid. If he's clearly not fit, do not play him because he's letting the side down. He cannot lift his legs off the ground. And Kanté there just takes a pot shot and it's very unlucky, obviously, two-hand, because he gets lucky off the post and the spin just takes it past Lloris. But defensively, very, very poor. You cannot leave that sort of space there in the centre of your goal, 25 yards out.
And is that because, obviously, there's a new manager, Glenn, but the changes again, another 4 today. They haven't played a lot of football together. Romero's come in, his first taste of the Premier League from the start.
Yeah, I do think they are behind, and they look like that. I mean, the first 20 minutes of any football match, if you're a professional player, you should have the intensity, you should have the energy to close down and have a picture in your mind quickly when you're on the ball. And slowly but surely, they got fatigued very quickly. And as Tim says there's too much space on the edge. I also thought, Tim, that Højbjerg, I think Dyer was actually shouting at Højbjerg to go out. He was a spare one. Dyer had somebody to pick up, but he could have actually gone. He stood his ground and tried to block it. I thought he could have gone face to face with her. But you're right, and Ndombele, in the end, he's got to get himself fit to play football. And he's not fit enough, the lad. He's got ability, but the thing is, even if he's on the ball, Lo Celso, Dele Alli on the ball, there's no movement. There's no movement from Tottenham. That's what concerned me. Watching here at the stadium where you see it off the ball, there wasn't enough movement off the ball. There really wasn't. So whoever was in possession was under real pressure to find any sort of pass. In the end, they went back or they went square, and then obviously it just allowed Chelsea to bank in, and they're a very hard nut to crack.
Glenn, do you think the movement up front is not there because when they look at who's in possession of the ball, they don't trust that they're going to have the range to be able to find them?
Well, certainly at Palace, I think that was the case. But today, you've got a few players that can look up and get their head up a little bit. So there's no one else there, Tim, on the bench or anyone else that's injured that's going to come in and actually make them passes. But as we know as midfield players, we need the movement first. You need that movement first. You cannot hit balls and then expect people to get on the end of it. You need that little picture in front of you. None of them had it. And I felt sorry for some of them players in that midfield area or the fullbacks when they come out. There was no movement off the ball. And I think that's a real concern. There's a lot of concerns defensively. As you said earlier, they're not going to play Chelsea in this shape every week. And Chelsea know how to play it better than anyone. So against lesser teams than Chelsea, they have got to have better pitchers in front of them to actually hit the passes and go from there. There is ability in the squad, but my word, I think at the moment it was a reality check today.
From a Chelsea point of view as well, they've scored 3 goals today, Michael. Lukaku hasn't scored any of them. And Rudiger already the 10th different goal scorer with that 3rd goal, which is a huge positive when you're sharing goals around like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. They're scoring all types of goals as well. They're scoring counter-attacking goals, build-up goals, set pieces as well. You see all the players in the box here, 5 players in the box. Even Rudiger, centre-half, looking like an accomplished finisher. So yeah, I mean, everything at the moment, they just look so well-oiled. Such a well-oiled machine, Chelsea, at the moment. And, it's going to take a Manchester City next week or a Liverpool or someone like that to try to knock them off their perch at the moment because, you can just see them devouring any lesser teams in current form.
Great movement from Rudiger there. He just pulls off, doesn't he? And great pick out from Werner, and he just got a swivel on that one. Great contact, but he's been a revelation. Rudiger. I mean, Frank Lampard never gave him a look in.
No.
He's decided to go free at the back, and this kid has been a real leader for him.
Glenn, you're going to watch the North London derby with me in here next weekend. There's a scenario that if Arsenal win 2-0, they go above Tottenham in the table. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, but who would have thought that a few games ago?
No, well, that's right. They were top of the league after 3 games. It was a little bit false, if I'm honest. I've got to say, against Wolves and Watford. But here they worked extremely hard against Man City. They put in a stint, and they didn't do that today. But they were top of the league. Yeah, who'd have thought that? Now, they've lost this derby. Now they go into Arsenal game. This is a massive game for them. It really is. For both clubs in many ways, because Arsenal are just getting a little bit of form, some points on the board. And, Spurs are in this little semi-rut, I've got to say. And, to go against Arsenal, the North London derby and their big rivals, it's probably coming at the wrong time. But it's there, and they've got to raise themselves. They really have. I'm just concerned when they've got the ball and without the ball, both times, they don't look to me as if they know what they're doing. They don't know what the drill is. They don't know where everyone should be. I don't see a little system within a system. It's all a little bit off the cuff, if I'm honest.